area, and we've got to deal with that, and we've got to help to either move into a place that's up, or help them, has the elevation not to flood.
Okay.
I'd like to call the Daytona Beach Redevelopment, Downtown Redevelopment Board to order. Would you call the roll?
Sir. Mr. Chair, Pete Chan.
Here.
Present.
John.
John. Cheryl, she's not here yet, but we're going to give her a couple more minutes.
Yep.
And Javier Benavente,
Here.
Mark Carrot, and
Here.
Scott Lawson.
Here.
And I'm
You?
here.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Let's see, what do we have? The Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's see. Have you all had a chance to review minutes? Cheryl's our usual good reviewer of the minutes. So,
Just to clarify, you didn't have a quorum last meeting. I apologize for not showing up. I had a
it's duly noted.
Yeah.
So, do I hear a motion to, so we've got minutes for
Two different ones.
two different ones. We got January 6th and February the 3rd. So we're going to do them both at once. And I'd like to hear a motion to approve the minutes for January 6th and February the 3rd.
So move.
Second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. We ready for a police report?
Well, Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, before we get to the police report, Attorney Jackson has an update for us regarding membership.
Hey, goody.
Yeah, I'm sad Cheryl's not here for this great announcement.
Yeah.
I mentioned last time as we were looking at several questions, much more, a few more than we had looked at before. We had the question not only of Cheryl's role as an ex officio, but also the question regarding having a person from the planning board. And so looking at what's in our land development code under section 2.3 redevelopment boards, there's a uniqueness about the way that they approach the downtown redevelopment board as opposed to the other boards. And specifically, one interesting thing is that all the boards actually are 7-member boards, plus the planning board member makes actually an 8th person, but the planning board person is expressly an ex officio non-voting member. That's what's expressed in the code. Now, when it's addressed in the code, the Downtown Redevelopment Board, the regular membership is a 7-member board. 6 are regular members, and number 7 is the ex officio from the DDA. And that ex officio from the DDA is expressed solely as an ex officio. It does not express them as being non-voting. And so a reasonable conclusion, since they specifically expressed them as non-voting when they spoke of the planning board member, that would indicate that the ex officio that's from the the DDA board is actually a voting member, or it should be interpreted that way. And we're going to ask to get some clarification in our code, but we're going to move with that being our understanding, that it's interpreted that she indeed is a voting member. And we're going to interpret it that she is actually defined as one of the members of the board. So she would be able to satisfy the questions of quorum and those questions that we were concerned about in the past. Okay. So that's the clarification, and that's how we'll operate, and we'll get it more clear by rewriting it, or that's our plan, at least to fix that language a little bit. But it's a fair, reasonable interpretation based upon the way that it's drafted.
So the interpretation is essentially by legal department representing the board, and you've looked at that, and at this particular point, she would qualify, and then you're just going to go into the land development code itself just to clarify language so there isn't any ambiguity. Is that?
Yeah, that's what we're going to get with staff and try and clarify that apparent ambiguity, even though, as I said, to address it, that's a standard interpretation of law. You know, when one thing is specifically addressed at one point and then it's left out the second time, then it appears to be an intentional removal of the requirement for a being non-voting. And if she's not non-voting, then she's voting. And ex officios can be voting members, depending on how we actually define them.
Okay. So now that we've defined it, we won't have questions going forward.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
I'm just curious if you might see similar anomalies in the land development code for the other boards.
Interestingly, all the other boards only address a 7-member board plus an ex officio non-voting planning board member. So it's really clear, because that's all it says.
Okay.
And there's, Mark's probably seen some of this, but sometimes when we're bringing a project in and it might not speak clearly to a specific item as far as a land use or well, then there's opportunity for amendment to the code. And so when something like this comes up, often what happens is you look at it for the other boards too and see, well, maybe that same situation would arise. So it's just part of the world is exactly the way it's supposed to be, and if not, you have an amendment. We on to the police report?
Yeah, police report. Mr. Chair, Captain Jones provided us with an assessment for the District 2 statistics. Want to bring to your attention 1,583 calls for service for the month of February. I think it will be important each quarter that we have a comparison of month to month or so to show the calls of services, just to give us an idea how things are going police-wise in the downtown area. They're written close to 300 citations, and towed about 28 vehicles throughout the area. There was a homeless camp at the 1000 block just south on B Street. That's probably around the area of Shady Place. I think that was Mockingbird Road, somewhere around there. And I believe that vacant land that was proposed for an apartment complex, it's up for sale now. The land is up for sale. I believe that's where the homeless camp was located. But we were hoping that the developer that was outside of Volusia County would develop that property, but I think they've made a different decision because the property is for sale today.
Where's District 2? Because there's a lot of action going on.
Yeah, well, downtown is included in the District 2.
Okay.
But I don't know what the police department
Well,
boundaries are.
it's a lot bigger than just the downtown.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So that was the police report from Captain Jones. I don't think there was. I did want to say the project manager, Ms. Fuqua, wanted to indicate that the armed guard. They're doing very well. They're doing fine. Things are going well with them. We also have the police department. They're doing about 20-hour schedule for innovative policing in downtown. It's a special detail, of course. But if you need some more information on what they're doing, what's happening with them, feel free to reach out, and we can get Captain Jones to give us additional
I
information.
think that'd be a good idea. I mean, they could just write a report like this if they want to, but if there's a special detail going on, I'm sure the redevelopment area would be happy to.
On top of our unarmed,
Yeah. Regular patrols
force,
that are
yes.
going on.
Do
The
we,
guys with the black and the blue stripe.
Yep.
do we rent or are we using any of those mobile barricades for the events this week
Oh
that
yeah.
we were talking about before? Do we buy those?
Yeah,
Or we're still
we haven't
renting them?
purchased them yet.
Okay.
We still got some things we're doing in-house to determine who's going to pay their fair share.
Okay, because my question was, when we even buy them, are we still gonna have to source them out for our larger events, or are we
Yeah.
gonna have enough in our garage for our
No,
ourselves?
so we don't have enough in our own garage, so we borrow from the police department. Volusia County Sheriff. We're also borrowed from Bethune-Cookman University. But we're going to buy an additional. I think it's 36. We're buying.
Because I think I saw some on Main Street, I think.
Yeah, but we had a few, but majority of those are either the sheriff department or Bethune-Cookman.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw them at one Daytona Saturday.
So when we do purchase, we're going to have they believe we're going to have enough to facilitate all of our events. Because we just did an assessment. One of the things we did in-house was we documented all of the events that we have that the police department has to participate in, and on top of it, where the barriers are going. So that helped us to kind of determine what CRA should pay their fair share based on the barriers that are used. So this exercise sort of helped us out.
2 comments. First, with the police report going to the captain asking for additional information, I'd also be interested in some of the efforts, if they're making it at all, and how successful they've been. The innovative policing, how the synergy with the private folks downtown is working out, and where they might be able to leverage that, to the city's benefit. And secondly, on the barriers, I did see them at one of the events. I can't remember which one it was. Maybe the art show, I think it was, at one of the last events. And I'm sure, placement of those barriers is key. They weren't placed very well for a determined individual. So you have to have a sufficient number of them and stuff like that, or else they just become something that makes people feel better. So, and I'm sure your security services and police force are looking at that in full. But if they were just to demonstrate, that we have them that last event, I don't see how they could be effective for someone who's determined to get by. You can drive around them. So the sidewalks, especially in the downtown area, are a problem. So you have to have, and I don't know if these barriers can be used. And so maybe parking police vehicles or something. So I'm sure they're looking at all that.
Yeah, Captain Conley did talk about that. He did say that they are a place where you cannot drive on the sidewalk, and whenever he does have events, I don't know if it was at the Halifax Arts event, but having them place where you cannot drive a car or a vehicle down, the sidewalk is where they place them. But they're law enforcement, so we don't try to dictate, where they go and how they use them. And it's not just
oversight.
Yeah,
So.
it's not just the police department. It's also our traffic engineer also involves in helping to place where those barriers go. And regarding the coordination between police department and our unarmed security, they also to coordinate with the Esplanade. So those guys who are, walking up and down Beach Street, they're also coordinating because it's the same company.
I wouldn't presume to try to tell the police force how to do their job.
We don't need it.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I just was saying from a citizen's perspective, it was nice to see them, but immediately in your mind say, well, so I'm sure they're looking out for things like that. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Public Works provided a report too as well. They have a lengthy report. I won't read everything, but there are some updates in the report itself. They talk about the dock renovation, City Island, Jackie Robinson, and I don't know if you guys have driven around Jackie Robinson, man. I mean, it really looks nice. Yeah.
I got an email inviting me to a tour.
No.
So I'll be through the chamber. In fact, it was on his email. So next Monday at 4 on the way home, I'm going to stop in.
Oh, you're going to stop in? Yeah.
Get a look-see.
Yeah, I was surprised that they're able to still play a baseball game with all the renovations going on, but they're doing it.
Just staying off the field.
Yeah, but it's really going to be a
That's going to be real nice.
destination spot for us. Yeah, really proud of that.
Oh, and actually the email was, it was, he was talking about an event space.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a big room for an event space, and I'm sure that's part of reaching out to the community to let them know that if you want to have some meetings or corporate get-togethers or whatever, they've got
Right.
a real nice spot for it. That'd be outstanding.
Yeah, it makes
Easy to
sense.
Get to, and sit out there and watch a ball game.
Right, right.
That'd be cool.
Well, that's part of why, we need to activate some more spaces in the downtown area because of, you got the baseball going on during the springtime, and people will be coming to the baseball game, and we need activities, and we need more opportunities for people to dine. But I think we also and I haven't talked to the Tortugas, but we also need to let people know where our existing restaurants are located, and make some kind of coordination between the restaurants and the Tortugas. One of the things, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a young man who provides, it's a rideshare program. He provides, sort of free transportation. So we've still been working with that young man with trying to wrap his vehicles so that we get some advertisement, and also as well help him to stay afloat and provide more. If you're parking far away and you need a ride, the guy will give you a ride, and he doesn't charge anything. It's just based on tips.
Nice.
So, we're not Brooklyn, so don't misunderstand what I'm saying, but in a small way we are. I still think water taxis. We've got all those docks out there and they're being refurbished. You can get the same way up and down from parking north and south or across the river. I still think, and I know there's a couple of folks out there doing some things commercially, but they're not water taxis, the tiki huts and things of that,
Right,
which are great
right.
businesses, don't misunderstand. But I still think, maybe long range, you all can think in terms of maybe some type of transportation that would involve water taxes.
It's funny you mentioned that. We did have a conversation with our cities to the south and north to Ormond. I think it was Port Orange, yeah, about how we can connect the waterways and provide some, amenity that all our cities can take advantage of. But we've had some discussions, but it hasn't gone anywhere yet.
I know they have some, I don't know how far the planning's gone, but there was an idea for a water taxi between Tiki Docks and, let's say, Two Jerks at the.
We would love to
the
do it.
bridge,
Yeah.
back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So, that'd be an interesting concept.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you've got a nice report to peruse at your leisure.
Just real quick comment on this, on the public, the sidewalks are coming along. They're getting repaired and stuff, so that's good to see.
So the asphalt's going away and the concrete's going in?
Yeah, I mean, and not just where the cabling is, where the utilities have been replaced, it's along the marina and places where, there were hazards, and it's good to see
Yeah.
all that work, and the work's being done, in my opinion, really professionally, so good to see that.
Yeah,
Just wanna
Public
make
Works
that
is-
comment while we're on this
Is making some improvements to where you have some uneven sidewalks. They're going in and replacing it and connecting them. So it's not a hazard. But one thing I wanted to mention about the Sidewalk Cafe right now, we haven't, pushed the envelope. But at some point in the near future, we want to work with all of the business owners to create a uniformed, sort of pedestrian, make sure you can walk freely up and down, going north-south on Beach, but also to allowing the restaurants to take advantage of outside, seating. One of the things we don't want to do is take away that opportunity for restaurants to be able to have seating outside, because people, and especially like a day like today, you want to be able to seat people outside and serve them. But we do need to, at some point down the road, have some sort of uniformity of how every entity is
You go to
providing
Winter
that
Park,
space.
Every restaurant on Winter Park has got outdoor seating.
Mm-hmm.
And you can walk by and see what people are eating, see if you want to come back there to eat.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're typically, the fence is against the building, and between the fence and the road is the pedestrian area.
Mm-hmm.
So, you take Little Italy, because that's a prime example for all of us, and that was kind of almost you wind your way between the two. They've spread out from, well, not anymore, but from the building out to the
Yeah,
edge of the street. So I think that regulation is long in coming and something that really needs to happen.
well, we
Business owners don't know what they're supposed to do if they don't have.
Exactly. But one of the things too that we thought about was we don't want to necessarily put the entire burden on the property owner. So we're going to provide a grant so that, if we have to, put that barrier in, the grant will pay for the barrier up to a certain amount.
You've got it for all kinds of facade upgrades
Yeah,
and
yeah.
interiors and.
Yeah. But we're not trying to push it at this moment because, we got a lot going on. So, but we are going to, incrementally start working toward that area to kind of uniform the,
Well, we'll click
the
it
area.
and report it until you do something.
Yeah. Okay.
One comment on that. When you do develop the framework by which you bring some uniformity to how this is done, to me, the one dimension, of course, is the physical, the being able to go through unimpeded, bring a wheelchair through, whatever it needs to be. The other, but some businesses along don't have a setback where they can go and have more seating. Others do. So it seems to me that the second dimension is the ability for the business to support the number of seats that it has as well. So if you can spread out, God bless you, but can your business support it? Do you have to keep equipment outside? Do you have to store grease and spill it and dump it? Those are the things that I love the sidewalk seating. I mean, without a doubt, I'm out there every morning and day on Beach Street. So my concern is only whether a business can support the infrastructure they want to put into a place. And then, of course, is it, safe?
Yeah, valid point. Now, the only businesses that are permitted at the moment are the restaurants. It's not the bookshops, it's not the clothing stores, none of that. It's just really the restaurants.
I notice in the commissioner priorities, North Beach Street infrastructure, that's a good one. Downtown Marina Building, which one is the Marina Building?
The actual marina building itself, where the city owns.
Which one is that? Is that the little, are we talking about next to, the old Cornelia Young Library? Are we talking about,
No.
across on the south side of the intercoastal there?
Yeah.
So that's the office that manages slips in the marina.
Yeah. Well, they're not there anymore. They're in the chamber. That's
Okay.
Mr. Stallworth's office. They're in the chamber now, but that is the particular building. I think we have,
So that's what that means?
the marina
Work on
building.
that marina building so they
Yeah.
can get back in there?
Well, throughout, I would say the last 6 months or even probably longer, there's been some, lengthy conversation with our city commission about why don't we invest in that building to make it sort of a center where people could, rent out for different events, such as, like Deltona has, and they have their center over there, and there's a couple more cities that have those
If you
locations.
get something going at that end, you got the south end down there, you got the Esplanade up at the north end, and you've got Jackie Robinson in the middle. You've got three real big draws to pull people in and use downtown.
And you've got the fire station too. We got the RFP out for the fire station.
Could you
Where's
repeat
that?
that?
The fire station?
Other than the one that's almost finished?
No, the one we're moving out of.
To renovate.
Yeah.
Has
yeah.
anybody
that's why
submitted any
Jack is
proposals or
here.
anything?
I haven't checked. Do you know if we got any proposals yet? You all know? But I believe it's been at least 30 days now, if I'm not mistaken. I'll check and
Right,
yeah.
asking for responses, but I wasn't sure if anybody
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to check with Mr. Stallworth's office and get back to you all. But that's a prime location for some type of entertainment.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that, well, we'll wait until we get to board comments.
And the other thing, they're really not finished with their prioritizing their goals, but there was a lot of discussion about wrapping utility boxes. And so our communications department, along with Public Works, is hiring a subcontractor to design, create some designs, because we've identified all of the boxes that we own and what we would like to do within the CRA. We're just waiting now on the designs on, what they're gonna look like so that we can do
They
it.
look good. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Some of them are green, you have to look twice. It looks like a big square plant.
Yeah. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Do we have any public comments? If so, you need to come sign up. Let us know.
Oh, sorry, I didn't sign up. You know my legal name or just?
Very full. But you just put Jack. You all know me. White.
Oh, Mr. Chair, before Mr. White comes up, I wanted to mention that, don't forget, you do have an opportunity to present before the City Commission, I believe April? Yeah, it could be April if you wanted to present whatever priorities that, the advisory board is recommending. No rush.
Morning.
Hi.
No, afternoon. Good afternoon. Name and address for the
Jack
record,
Knight,
please.
415 South Meadow, Daytona Beach. Thank you all for having me here today. The reason I'm up here is because we recently purchased a building at 501 South Ridgewood, and we're in the process of renovating it. And I met with Phoebe, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and basically about our grant program. And she said that the grant program has changed, or at least is up in the air, and is now incumbent upon the boards to come and look at the grants before they're approved. So I thought it might have been brought to you today, but I guess it isn't. I don't know if that's the process or if you all are aware of that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have reviewed grants before they were issued. We looked at Kale Cafe, what they were doing in the back. We've looked at there's
House?
a place over here behind Cook's Jewelers, got a mural on the back.
When
did you make formal application?
So I made it about about a month ago. Anyway, I thought the process used to be that it was for a certain amount it was not brought in front of the board, and I'm only here because I thought it was being brought in front of the board. So I just don't know what the process is and how to kind of apply.
I don't know the details, but it's an application that goes in, they review it, they see if it meets the criteria, and you've done so many and you're so familiar, I'm sure you would check all the boxes and know, and then.
I'm only here because you said it's changed. I don't know if you all are aware of that. Ken,
How did it change, Ken?
Well, what the commission wants now is, and the city manager, is that all of our grants, as you mentioned, Mr. Chair, need to go through the vetting of the advisory board. So it will certainly put more time on when a grant is approved, but any grant that we receive, lease subsidy, facade, you name it, it will come before the advisory boards,
So
the
if-
individual advisory boards.
If Jack put it in a month ago, how come it hadn't reached
Oh,
us
it's
by now?
it's going to be a long time because if you all haven't heard, we have a lot of scrutiny that's happening with the city of Daytona Beach. So nothing is moving expeditiously as we want to. So you put a grant in, yeah, it's going to take you. It may take you a month before anything is approved.
So, let's say you've
Go
got a
ahead, John
process.
had a.
So do we have a concrete timeline or any type of idea?
You know, I hate to sit here and say, you know,
You don't know.
45 days, but you know, and Jack isn't the only application that we're getting. I mean, we got plenty more that is coming through that we have to review. An application and grant applications are one, but it is important to us. It is a priority for us. But how we did things in the past, and I also want to mention that last year we gave out $500,000 of grants. And that $500,000 of grants was more than we gave out in 10 years with the CRA. So
That was our goal, though, right?
yeah, absolutely. It was our goal to give out more. But we're moving as fast as we can. More than likely, we'll probably have something at your next meeting. I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
I hope that gives you confidence that it's moving through the process as
Yeah,
expeditiously
I
as
know it's
possible.
moving. I just, part of it is the clarity, you know, because we've been, you know, consistent for so long, and part of it is trying to understand and I'm reached out to several commissioners about, you know, their goals, and so that we're all consistent from the customers, the private sector, to the boards, to the commission, that we're all communicating and doing so effectively and are on the same page, because it's just, you know, from our side, time is money, and we want to make sure.
How much was this grant for?
This one was for 50,000. So it includes outside, inside painting. Basically, we're refurbishing the whole building. So, yeah, our goal is to continue to do that, and we want to make sure. So when I walked in their offices in October, I said, "This is my plan. This is what I'm going to be doing." I submitted some ideas, and we closed on the building. We you know, started working, and under the guise that we were gonna not necessarily get it in time. I just want to make sure that they are available, and you know, we're all on the same page, because I move forward like you all in good faith, and so good communication.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What else do we have? Comments by the board? What's on the agenda here? How about,
Public comment?
what do I do with my?
I don't know.
Yes.
Want to give us your name and address for the record?
Yes. Hi. I'm Gina Butler Thompson, 2185 South Palmetto Avenue. So I wanted to thank you guys for your time. I appreciate being here. We've lived at 2185. It was my grandparents' home, 5 generations. And I moved back here after college, and I have children now. We really enjoy Beach Street. We love all the development that's going on. This is my first meeting here, and I'm looking forward to attending more. My specific question is for Mr. Thomas. Do you have a timeline of the specific projects that you're speaking of that you could email to me so that I could take a look at them?
You can have this.
What's that?
This is a
I have an extra copy.
downtown redevelopment.
I have an extra copy. I'll give it to her.
Okay. I mean, this is very specific, and it has all the projects that are ongoing that are essentially funded, which are Jackie Robinson Ballpark, the Beach Street infrastructure down there where framework is going on, Well, let's see. Beach Street, streetscape
Yeah,
improvements.
we got Delta West. There's a few projects that are.
So I can take a look and then email you.
Yeah, email me, yeah.
I just wanted to ask you, when you speak of the barriers and the infrastructure as far as the restaurants on Beach Street, could you kind of tell me what you're referring to in that regard? I know that specifically my children and I like going down there and eating outside. So I'm kind of confused about the word barrier.
There's two different things. One that John was talking about are traffic barriers.
Okay,
There was a presentation, I think last meeting, that these are for security reasons. So when
Correct.
there's something going on, they put those in the street. That's
okay,
completely different.
Those
Correct.
barriers are intended to stop vehicles from driving into crowds and
right. I don't
killing
think
people.
that's what I'm referring to. I think that.
Then as far as the restaurants
right.
and the sidewalks, we use Little Italy as an example because we're all
Okay.
familiar with it. And they have, and they're busy, they were, and so they'd have a lot of seating outside.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd have a little, they'd have a guy playing music. And so if you're on the sidewalk going from Stavros down south back and forth, you're walking between all those.
Okay.
So there isn't a specific guideline in the land development code to set some requirements for what that should be. I mentioned Winter Park.
Unambiguous.
Right. I
Yeah.
understand that. So
So
what?
the idea is to develop something like that so that you and your kids have
Okay.
easy access along the sidewalk and can still enjoy outdoor seating.
Okay. So is there a specific timeline on that?
That's up
We,
to,
one of the things that we're conscious of is that this is happening today, real time. And we don't want to create a problem for the local restaurants to
Because
impede
they're
upon their
sticking very
business.
well, right? There hasn't been a lot of turnover, which is super important to someone like me, who's watched Beach Street constantly turn over and turn over and turn over again. And now we have restaurants that are actually sticking. We have wine walks that are working. So that's very important, I think, to all of downtown.
Yeah, we don't want to press some rule that would impede them from servicing the community and providing the food and the beverages that they do. So we're going to take our time with the local restaurants, and I've taken pictures of sidewalk cafes in California, Miami, different places I've gone. And so we want to sort of give some examples of what will work. And it's also based on how much width we have on the sidewalk too. So we don't want to impose something that's going to be a problem for our restaurants.
Right.
So, but right now we haven't had a huge amount of complaints or problems. So there's no reason to try to, rush this.
Right.
Let's take our time, design something that's going to be amenable and acceptable to all of us. Provide some money to make it happen too as well, so it's not a burden on the property owner. And so, that's the path that we're going down.
So who votes on that decision?
Well, it's already been approved that
Okay.
the grant, the money is there. We just need to come up with the design that everyone agrees with.
Who's everybody? I'm sorry, I'm
Business
new to
owners,
this.
business owners.
Okay.
So we'll have some examples on what we think it should look like.
Okay.
We'll go to a business owner and say, hey, what do you think? How far do you want to bring it out? How many tables you want? How many chairs you want? What would work for you as opposed to the city imposing something?
Okay.
We don't want to do that.
Do you think that there's going to be grant money for water taxis?
Well,
Or can you guys find money
Well,
for
we-
water taxis?
we're giving the commission a list of priorities, and water taxes is on that. And so we're going to wait until they prioritize, what they would like to do as it relates to us implementing some of those activities.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Public comments are closed unless someone shows up. How about the board? You said you had something you would bring up later.
I did. Actually, two comments now. One is to mention, Mr. Thomas, I think it's a really good idea getting the stakeholder inputs along Beach Street in terms of how that seating works out and stuff. I'm sure you all will work it out. The second is really about, I was excited to see some of the investments the city might be making in the beachside Main Street area, and it kind of gets me wondering about some of the buildings we have in the downtown area. Makes me wonder about the kind of projects we should be looking at in terms of the scale of them and what type of vision we might be able to recommend or maybe push onto the commission for them to consider. And I'm just wondering whether, when you and your staff are convening, if you could just take a few moments and maybe think big about downtown. Mm-hmm. I have seen the investments that have gone into the downtown area. You all have thought big about it, so, I'm not saying you haven't, right? But there are still some things that could be done, and if the city's making investments, let's invest some more, into, if we can, So that would be my only comment.
With utilizing the water and stuff like that too. Just two places for me in Boston with the duck tours, if you guys have done that, or in like Chicago, the architectural boat tours. I love that type of stuff. And as we're talking about utilizing the water, I think a great introduction to a city is a little history, whether it be architectural, whether it be what's going on. And for me, when I first get into a new city like that, I love to do something that I feel so much more connected to everything like that. And maybe this could all be somehow bundled together in some way.
Okay. Well, Mr. Chair, if I may, whenever you do make your presentation for the City Commission, those are kind of things that, as a collective body here, you would want to let them know that water taxi is a priority for downtown. Because what staff did, so we have a redevelopment plan. Everything that we do has to be consistent with that redevelopment plan. Now, water taxes is part of the redevelopment plan. It may not say water taxes. It may say entertainment, it may say transportation, it may say something that deals with, that water taxes may fall under. But when we start prioritizing how we're going to spend our money every year, the commission plays a significant part of that. And they may prioritize some things because we only have a certain amount of money that we can spend. But if water taxes is a priority for this board, then they need to know it.
Okay. What's the date for the commission?
It's the first and third meeting, either one that you choose.
So maybe at our next meeting,
or June,
we should be talking about some priorities. Mm-hmm. Probably should have been talking about that today, since it's next month.
Bring your ideas to the next meeting.
We do have some.
Put that in the minutes.
I would also recommend just remembering some of the things we've discussed. Parking has always been something that we've pointed out. Security, expanding the private security beyond Beach and Palmetto, right? Mm-hmm. What we also talked about is some of the dilapidated buildings in the downtown area. We have talked about the water taxis. I mean, my pet peeve is getting over ISB. I'd love to see a walkover that ties the north and south sides of ISB. What about you fellas? You've had a new perspective. Think about what are the wish lists. Not that they're actually going to do it, but let's just get it on the radar screen.
Flood prevention. Flood prevention.
Flood prevention.
Good luck.
Scott.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
One of the main things is a lot of the dilapidated buildings. Mm-hmm. Trying to find a way to encourage more businesses to come into downtown. It's like Dunderbox coming to downtown is great. I mean, that any addition, it really depends on what you want the downtown to be. Do you want it to be an entertainment district, restaurants, nightlife, or do you want it to be offices? Which you have a wide break between the two right now. And it's like, for the longest time, we were one of few restaurants down there. And it's nice to see other additional things. And as there's more to draw people into downtown, more people will come to downtown. And then as more people come, when we're doing all the events, the food trucks, the wine walks, all that brings more people into downtown. They get a feel for what is down there, what shops are down there, what little, not just the restaurants and bars, but anything, I don't know the proper way to put it, just something that's going to attract foot traffic into downtown. Because that's been the biggest problem, is you have an entire swath of the street that is just empty buildings for the most part. And that, it's great that you want to talk about water taxis, but there has to be reason for that water taxi to go there, to bring people there. If you're just going to drop them off and they're looking at a dozen empty buildings, it doesn't work. And whether it be, I come from Virginia, where downtown Norfolk took large sections of really dilapidated areas, and they were able to spin it into the best areas in the city. Thriving nightlife, and once the nightlife came, people wanted to live down there. Now you saw apartments, and Jack would know. With his developments in downtown, trying to get people to live down there. It's great that the apartments being built at the end of the street down by Brown and Brown. All those people, if you can give them reasons to stay in downtown, they don't have to go to the outlets. They don't have to go somewhere else. Working with Al, more concerts, every Friday. That's one thing that Norfolk did. Every Friday there was a free concert in the Waterside area, and you'd get thousands of people who would just come into the downtown area, and they would stay there. And it's just, you have to really, I think it's just a matter of priority. What do you want the downtown to be? Offices, entertainment, or anything along, and then kind of geared in that direction. Whether it be, one of the tools that they used were tax abatements. If you were willing to go in, take over a building, and renovate it, they abated your taxes for a certain period of time, 5 years, to get people to go in and basically take over buildings like the building on the corner of the block where we are. What's it, the Woolworth building? Mm-hmm. The guy who's trying to sell it right now, he wants the sun and the moon for it. He's never going to get it. Mm-hmm. That building, we had to cut the entire front end off of it because it was a hazard. Now it's just an eyesore. It's a great old building, but who's going to go in and drop $1.5 million, $2 million to renovate it? So, how do you do that? You get people to say, okay, well, if you come in, you're willing to do it, we'll work with you, whether grants or easing the taxes on it while you do it.
There's plenty of incentives and tax credits when somebody comes in. It's investors are going to come in and they're going to look for a way to generate income after they develop whatever they develop.
Yeah.
Whether it's going to be residential units, or it's going to be retail sales, or it's going to be restaurant or a grocery store. So they've got to run their demographics and see if there's going to be a desire for it. So one of the things that's going to help in the long term is putting something like Framework in over here, and you're putting in, I don't know how many apartments over there, 200 or 300?
400 each.
400? So
300.
So 300 at 1.5 or 2 per, there's 600 walking the streets.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do that, then national chains, Starbucks or some other fine restaurants are going to come in because they're going to see that there's a potential to make money on the project, and then they can run a pro forma to see whether that 1.5 million is going to be, what's the payback? Is it a year or is it 50 years? 50 years, they're not going to do it, obviously. So a lot of it has to do with what Ken is talking about, step by step. So when you make it more enjoyable and safer and better sidewalks and a reason to come here, eventually what's going to happen is all those tourists that come to town that are all staying on the beach side, they see some brochures out there about stuff that's going on Beach Street, and they say, well, why don't we spend our Saturday on Beach Street? There's all kinds of cool stuff to do. Why don't we take the little water taxi over there? And then we can stop here and stop there. And so it's going to take a while, but that's a vision that I see can happen for downtown Daytona. And what was her name? Karen? Connor? The girl that was in here. So she's been here and she came back and she's seen it grow over time. She's seen that it's gotten better and better. Jack and I grew up here. So, some of y'all might have. So I've been here. I used to shop in Woolworths as a kid, and so that's where I did my Christmas shopping. So I've seen it go stagnant. And then you get the mall out there, and everybody, that's what pulled it away. And then what happens is, Jack did a story. I did a presentation to our Rotary Club one time about just what happens, and you go into blight, and you go into it just falls off, and then all of a sudden now the real estate is becoming more accessible because the prices have dropped, and then you come in and you do like what he did with the lofts on you know, and so it's cyclical.
Yeah.
And I think we're on the upswing for what's going on, but it's just going to take a while. But it takes interest, just like you're saying, for us to keep making presentations. I'll go to the board and I'll go to the commission and talk about it and say, here's some priorities that we're looking for, because that's really part of our responsibility is to be a catalyst and help things keep moving.
No, Scott brings up a good point, but we're going to take down those dilapidated properties. We're going to need private investment, because the minute the city gets involved, we're criticized for buying dilapidated properties.
No, I completely understand.
So we really need private investment. So let's take the Woolworth building. We would love for someone to purchase the Woolworth building and we come behind and offer some grant funding, abate the taxes, so that it makes it easier for someone to develop that property. Because as you said, the property owner wants more than it's worth.
Yeah.
So your entry into that acquisition it will kill a deal. But if we came behind them and said, hey, we're going to abate your tax for the next 10 years, or how long the CRA is available, that may help pencil out. The other thing that I think that we have to go parallel on is our front door. Front door is Ridgewood. So let's not forget about Ridgewood. We have to do something with Ridgewood, and majority of those properties
brings to mind a grant application for a project on Ridgewood that I recently heard about, that maybe we can move that along a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a good point that you make about Ridgewood, and when I look at you have the growth plan that the city has and the county has, but when I see where all the emphasis on growth is, where you make money is buying cheap land and building out suburbia, out on the west side of 95. So to get the infill and the redevelopment of downtown area, you've really got to have strong incentives, as well as good processes that make it simple for small businesses to be able to do that. And who do we have here today talking to us about the challenges they have about doing infill and redevelopment along Ridgewood?
Yeah. Very few.
So we can talk all we want about here, but when a private investor comes to us and says, hey, and I didn't even know about this. So, I know we got auditors in the house, but we still have business to do. And unless we can do business, we won't keep investors. They'll go someplace else. And we've got people who have invested in the downtown and they want to do business. They want to spend money. we need to encourage that. And we need, I don't think people should not be able to make money on their property. They should be able to develop it. I'm not talking about that, but I think it's important for us to have a balanced growth, and we need to spend some money in this area.
Yeah.
I mean, in long-range money, serious money. And maybe it's time to take a look at that, how we.
When was the last time the redevelopment plan was updated?
It's been a while. It's been a while. It needs to be updated. It's been more than 5 years, and the method, or at least the best practices, that you do it every 5 years.
Come and do. We got a meeting to
And-
move on to, so I'm gonna have to,
I'm sorry.
you guys can sit in here all you want.
Well, but good luck next week.
Adjourned.
On that presentation.
Yeah, well.